What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about some crypto news with regards to the markets. They continue to decline after falling out of that upward channel. Bitcoin continues to drop. It's actually dropped at a faster rate than some of the altcoins. But I'll get into all of that and some interesting news around some crypto mixers similar to Tornado.cash. Before I do a spreadsheet, the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel, had you invested $100 into each of these when I release videos about them, you're still holding all that crypto, you'd be in profit for over 21.6k. This is after many retracements. One thing I have been banging on about for what feels like a year now, but it's certainly more than 3 months, is start building that list of coins that you're excited about. We're in a bear cycle. Everything's going to continue dropping, bar some incredible news that economies randomly recover out of nowhere. But the bear cycle is where you want to invest. The bear cycle is the ideal time to invest. Find those coins that you're excited about, review them. If you're objectively still excited about them, then start dollar cost averaging in, not financial advice. I'm starting to share the coins that I'm really excited about for the bear cycle on the site. The moment I start pulling the trigger on some of those investments, I'll be letting everyone know. So if you want to get ahead of the curve and see what I'm getting into in the bear cycle, those coins that I think can 20x, 40x, 50x, 100x, like I said with Phantom, then click the link in the description and check it out. Right, before we get to the sort of news, Bitcoin just falling out of that channel. Next, I mean, realistically, there should be some semblance of support around between sort of 32 and 33k, just off of the basis that so many of the massive positions taken by companies like Tesla, MicroStrategy, big players in Bitcoin, sort of their average entry point was around that sort of level, although that's not quite true in MicroStrategy anymore because of the dollar cost averaging in that they've done. But there should be some level of lines of support. They're not going to hold for long. 30k is the next level, whether that takes 2 days, 3 days, a week. We're going to see Bitcoin testing previous lows. We can see it coming. So that would be another 10% decline for Bitcoin to get back down to here. Again, alts you would expect would have a steeper decline, although that's not necessarily been true as of late. But let's see how it plays out. Things generally looking pretty weak on all fronts, certainly on all higher timelines for Bitcoin. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Now, Bitmex founders are dealing with a case against them. So Bitmex founders have been ordered to pay a $10 million fine at the end of the week. And this is because the case against them relied on a novel interpretation of the Bank Secrecy Act and a confirmation that the Commodities Future Trading Commission really has extraterrestrial authority. As the founder awaits sentencing, they're no further ahead in obtaining regulatory clarity. Terraform Labs' case against the US SEC is working its way through the legal system, but it will be months, if not longer, before in front of a judge. Sam Bankman-Fried, founder of FTX, has also pointed out that the power struggle between the CFTC and the SEC has resulted in the regulatory environment being stalled. And that is something that we have spoken about on this channel multiple times. You know, I'm not a big fan of regulation, but I think in terms of providing clarity, it needs to happen. I also think we also fundamentally know there are huge institutions sitting on the sidelines, slightly dipping their toe in the waters in terms of crypto, whether it's offering custody services to their clients or whatever, but they want investments. But until they've got clarity, they're not going to do so. So yeah, basically we're in this sort of situation where there is still a lack of clarity. The fact that the digital assets like cryptocurrencies do not fit neatly into the SEC's regulatory framework is the problem. And we're going to see how they decide to regulate. Hayes and Bitmex, we're not sure if they're going to fight it. If they do decide to fight the feds, they might have actually forced a resolution in the case, but they've not done that as of yet. And obviously Bitcoin support of 30k. You would expect support of 30k because it's or thereabouts, because it's previous lows. Certainly psychological barrier. Now the bigger story is the US government has sanctioned something called Blender.io. Now Blender.io is pretty much identical to Tornado.cash in what it does. So the US Treasury Department has announced that it's sanctioning Blender.io, cutting off the Bitcoin mix from the US financial system. Only legally speaking, of course, because you can still use it. They've alleged that the service was used by North Korea to support cyber attacks. Obviously, the rumors are that Lazarus, the hacker group sponsored by North Korea's government, was responsible for the attack on Axie Infinity. And the Treasury's basically said that as a result, they've levied sanctions against it. Now, Blender.io works in exactly the same way as, or very similarly to Tornado.cash. Sorry, brain. So it's a way for anonymizing Bitcoin transactions. And yeah, at the moment, they are in trouble with the US government. Now, we know that the funds stolen were in Ethereum and USDC. But at some point, there was a conversion from Ethereum and USDC to Bitcoin. There's also been reports that a number of the funds was filtered through Tornado.cash. Tornado.cash, to some degree, is partnering or certainly aiding government organizations, or at least working with them with regards to certain hacks. They've also alleged that Blender laundered money for ransomware organizations like Conti, TrickBot, etc. And now that it's sanctioned, it won't be able to access any of its funds that were stored within the US, nor can it do transactions with American companies or citizens. Although, again, you point out you just need a VPN to hide where you are. And then from there, you can start using it, I guess. So Blender and other mixers work by pooling together deposited funds, then randomly distributing them. Because transactions are recorded on the blockchain, it can be very difficult to use stolen funds without using these types of services. Obviously, stolen coins go into the Blender, and the hackers will, in theory, get clean coins back. It's money laundering on a digital level. That's the idea. So, yeah, interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Tornado.cash end up getting any semblance of sanctions, or end up having to work with the government, because they've said, they've released statements saying that they're prepared to work with organizations in regard to crime, but the majority of, well, not the majority, but certainly people who are using Tornado.cash, certainly criminals have used Tornado.cash in the past. And it's a slippery slope. The moment you start working with governmental organizations, it's a sliding scale, as it were, and things start getting more blurry. So it's going to be intriguing to see if Tornado.cash end up being added to the list of sanctioned organizations by the Treasury. But yeah, things. It's an interesting start to the week, or end to last week, I guess. And obviously, the weekend has continued to see the market decline, with more and more legal battles, whether that's Bitmex, whether that's SEC trying to sanction or bring up legal cases against exchanges or Ripple. It's a really interesting time, and we know you always know you're in a bear cycle when even positive news isn't really having an impact on the market at all. And we're seeing lots of stories about Bitcoin and lots of stories about, adoption. I know adoption's not sexy, but we see loads of them at the moment. We've seen tons, but they're making no difference to the market. They're making no difference to the sentiment. Certainly short term. I'm sure people long term become more bullish as a result of, a country adopting here, a country adopting there. But short term sentiment is clear. Short term is down and recession is coming. So yeah, intriguing. Guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Tornado.cash is going to be sanctioned? Do you think Tornado.cash is going to be attacked by the Treasury? Or do you think they've got a sort of secret handshake under the table, and that's why they've been left out of the sanctions on Friday? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm always intrigued. And that's it for me. If you are new to crypto, or you've been in crypto a while and you're just fed up, you're pissed off, you're not prepared for the bear cycle, you've not had time to do research, you can come and see what I'm saying on the site, the coins that I'm starting to look at in more depth. And the moment that I pull the trigger on bear cycle investments, you'll be able to see that. So if you want to know what I'm getting in, those coins that I think can do significant gains, the 20x's, 40x's, 100x's, then click the link in the description and check it out. Anyway, take it easy, folks.